Hello everyone and welcome to yet another 2-Minute Tuesday. I will piggyback from last week's topic where we were talking about backups and creating your own manual backup of your environment before you do anything with it so you don't miss any of the work and data that the users were doing right before you perform an action. In some cases, you want to, let's say, try a new application that you're getting from whether it is a third-party vendor or whatever it is, if you download it directly from the app source, you want to try some things that you don't want it to affect any of the environments that you're currently using. So in this case, right here, you can see I'm at the Power Platform Admin Center. I have a couple of environments here, our production environment and our training environment. And maybe I don't want to use one of those environments, in order to test this new application that I don't know, maybe I met someone at a conference and I want to try their solution or whatever it is. And yes, I know that you could use a trial in order to test a lot of these applications. If you have that ability, then go for it, go that route. But in some cases, some of these applications, I want to see how they interact with the customizations and the solutions I already have in my system. So I want to see how they help me with what I currently have. So if I create a trial, I would have to move all my function. It will be too much work. So instead of doing that, all I have to do is copy one environment into another. So let's start the countdown and let's go. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to create a new environment. Obviously, if you need a new environment, go ahead and create it. As you know, if you're creating an environment on your Power Platform, you have to have at least 1 gig of space available, essentially, for you to create that environment. So you can create this one and call it something like, I don't know, Elevate Solutions plus new application that I'm trying to test, whatever it is. So you can name it whatever you want, but then the process is the same. Once you create the environment, all you have to do is select the environment that you want to copy into it, right? So in my case, if I want to try it, let's say on the functionality I have currently in production, then I'm going to select the production environment, which is this one right here, and then I'm going to click on copy. Now notice this thing opens right here on the right and it says, what do you want to copy over? You want to copy everything, or do you want to just copy the customizations and schema only? Now, if this is something that is imperative for it to work with everything that we have, I really want to test with my functionality and my data and everything that I have, then obviously I will perform a full copy, which is copying everything, just like you see right now on the screen. But if I only want to test it with the functionality I have and I don't really care that it works with the data that I have or whatever, or the data is not going to be affected, then I can just copy the customizations and schema, and that will leave us, with the ability to test the functionality against the customizations, but will not use so much space. Like imagine if you have a 20 gig or 30 or 100 gig environment, and that's the one that you want to copy to test your stuff. Well, if you do a full copy, if you copy everything, now you have to have 100 or whatever it is, the size of that environment available in order for you to create a full copy or an exact copy of that environment. So that can be challenging. So that's why I personally like to use the minimal copy or the customizations and schema only. It doesn't include the data, but it moves all the customizations, which is great for testing. After you're done with that environment, you can delete it. No problem. It works great. Now, one of the things that you will notice is that even though I can copy a production environment into a sandbox, I can never copy into a production environment. So there's no risk that you will be overwriting one of your production environments with a copy. However, there is a risk that you can be overwriting a sandbox environment, because sandbox environments are the ones that can receive a copy. So if I take, let's say, everything, all I have to do is select the sandbox environment. Notice that I only have one listed because the other ones are production or default, and I have to select that. So when you're creating an environment, if you were copying this into a brand new environment, make sure the new environment you're creating is the sandbox. It's not a production environment. So that's pretty much it. Make sure your sandbox, make sure you have enough storage for it, and then select what type of copy you want to drop into it. Once you do that, a wizard starts. It really takes like 2 minutes, or well, if you're doing a full copy, it will take longer than that, but it shouldn't be that long. And that's it. You'll be able to test it and make sure that the solution that you're checking out or whatever it is can be tested thoroughly without having to mess with your existing environments, right? The environments you already have. So I hope you enjoyed the tip this week, and we'll see you next week.